What he has said is not only unprofessional, unpresidential, inconsiderate of the status of this investigation, but frankly, it is just unhinged.
The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a mid-air explosion and fall into the river. In a second video, you can see the Army helicopter and American Airlines plane travel toward each other. After the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water.
What up, it's Mel, and we have update from this crash that happened January 29, 2025. You guys remember the aircraft, the airlines that crashed with the Black Hawk, the American Airlines? 67 people, I believe, deceased total. Well, they're saying it's the female pilot's fault. The Black Hawk helicopter, the female pilot that collided with the American Airlines, made multiple mistakes, according to New York Times Post. She ignored a warning from her co-pilot. The New York Times reports that multiple mistakes were made leading up to the tragedy, taking up to 60 lives. I think it was 67, but I could be wrong. Not only was the Black Hawk flying too high, which I remember when Trump had talked about the Black Hawk helicopter and the altitude, they went crazy on him.
It's the first crisis of the 11-day-old Trump administration.
I speak to you this morning in an hour of anguish for our nation.
And the president quickly blamed the tragedy on Democrats and DEI hiring policies.
They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program.
Are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring?
It just could have been.
Reaction is swift.
What he has said is not only unprofessional, unpresidential, inconsiderate of the status of this investigation, but frankly, it is just unhinged.
The Army helicopter was a UH-60.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. They're also saying that the reports blame partly the air traffic controllers for not being clear and urgent enough. But however, Warrant Andrew Eves, who was co-piloting and the instructor of Captain Rebecca Loback, told her to turn left, and she didn't. Why? He told her he believed that air traffic control wanted them to turn left towards the East River bank. Turning left would have opened up more space between the helicopter and flight 5342. Okay. The other thing is the altitude. Okay, we've talked about this multiple times. Lily tagged me in this. Not only was the Black Hawk flying too high, but in the final seconds before the crash, its pilot failed to heed a directive from her co-pilot to change course. So Captain Loback, she said she would, but 2.5 minutes later, the Black Hawk was still above 200 feet. So they had to stay at 200 feet. The max was 200 feet. The Black Hawk was 15 seconds away from crossing paths. Eves then turned his attention to Captain Loback. He told her he believed the air traffic controller wanted her to turn left. She didn't. This would have opened up more space, which was heading for runway 33 at an altitude of roughly 300 feet. I think it was like 270 or something like that, but roughly 300 feet. And the FAA mandated an altitude of no higher than 300 feet. All right. For that part of the route, meaning an altitude of 400 feet would have been unacceptable and could have positioned the Black Hawk in an uncomfortably close to departing or landing airplanes. Okay. So a mess. As the helicopter approached the key bridge from which it was flying south along the river, Warrant Officer Eves stated that it was 300 feet and descending to 200 feet, necessary because of the maximum height for its route closer to the airport had dropped to 200 feet. But even as it reached that juncture, Eves evidently felt obligated to repeat his instruction. What was going on with this lady? The Black Hawk was at 300 feet, he said, and it needed to descend, and she didn't. So more information has come out about this horrible incident where all these people have passed away. And, you know, I went down this rabbit hole many times of plane crashes, and they say that most plane crashes are pilot error. Let me look that up. What are the statistics? It says pilot error is a significant factor in many airplane crashes. while specific numbers vary on the source, commercial versus general aviation. Estimations often place it around 53 to 80%. That's not to say there's things that happen that are out of their control, mechanical stuff or errors or flight stuff that's just really not their fault. But a lot of the times there's something they could have done, avoidance or any kind of whatever, and it could have avoided the whole plane crash. So I wanted to give a little update on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Take a moment to locate your nearest exit.
Shuttle 6 Romeo, Romeo.
It's really good, like, to see, like, the girl power being shown.